The research work deals with the flood of Santa Teresa. This flood occurred in October of 1879, when the Segura River overflowed. After failing 600 liters in just 1 hour, the city of Murcia was one of the most affected by the catastrophe that caused more than 1,000 deaths, major damage to home, etc. However, the purpose of this article is the detailed study of the different externalities that Murcia had for its recovery, which came mainly from France. We purpose to focus on the analysis of the incidents that they had and how they affected them. Much has been said about what the flood itself was, but little was being done about it and how the siege was repulsed. For this reason, we are motivated to carry out this work, which is the different from the previous ones that have been carried out to highlight the initiative of many famous people on the time, the newspapers, and the solidarity of the society in general.
To know the importance that will now Riada Santa Teresa had in Murcia, we must first understand each event, trigger, development, and consequence. When the context is clear enough, we can already identify and analyze the news that will translate outside the region of the Murcia. We will treat each story individually, since each idiosyncrasy is very different from each other, and I think it will be easier to obtain clear results that allow us to determine if your hypotheses were correct or not. The research will be carried out using a quantitative method. The objective of the analysis is to find out the amount of the money that was donated to Murcia and its surrounding area, or at least the most important economic contribution. For that reason, the subject of the investigation will be the donation from relevant figures, other cities, and newspapers. To analyze the problem, first we collect data of some archives and articles. The sample was 10 online reports of some newspapers and webs, and an album of the regional archive called La Riada de Santa Teresa. When we had all the data collected, we compare and codify all the information. Finally, we synthesize the main information with the purpose of the specific, the more accurate, and true data of the research. The principal hypothesis of the research is that many important people contribute with great amount of the money in order to help Murcia and his Huerta area to rise from the misfortune of the floods. It's important to note that the data of the investigation is based in articles and information from a climate disaster that happened 140 years ago. So some all the data collected could be missed in the course of the time. Anyway, that doesn't depend of us. We tried to do the research the best as we could, depending of the data collected.
Okay, now is my time. I'm speak about the results, but to begin with the results, we need to speak first about José Martínez Torner. He is a Murcian journalist, a Murcian writer, and he wrote a lot of articles, asking help at the Spanish PM, Arsenio Martínez Campos, and the Spanish king, Alfonso XII, or Alfonso XII. His articles have a lot of repercussion, managed to sell 25,000 of copies, breaking all the records of the Diary of Murcia. These articles had so much repercussion. They crossed borders and arrived in Paris, where a French publisher, his name is called Levy, created the Paris Murcia newspaper, whose income was donated to the cause. selling 300,000 copies and obtaining an income of 43 million of pesetas. Now we start to speak about the national economic support. These support are divided in 4 subscriptions. We have a first national subscription in people like the Spanish king, the ministers, and influence people donate which amount at more than 90,000 of pesetas. And we have other national subscription in like the Spanish government, the Spanish bank, and the Murcia town hall support with the amount of more than 1 million of pesetas. Then we have a particular subscription. This amount at more than half million of pesetas, and to end we have the newspaper support with the amount of more than 300,000 of pesetas. This is all the results, and the final number is more than 45 million of pesetas that Murcia received in support of the Santa Teresa's floods.
In this presentation, I like to focus on the interpretation and the implications of Santa Teresa floods. Firstly, I have to say that this event was a natural disaster that affected in a big way the city of Murcia and its surrounding area. In which concerns to the results, we can see that many rich and influenced people and some newspapers gave huge amounts of money in order to recover the damaged areas. This doesn't mean that the people with less economic support won't take part of that, but obviously the contributed quantity was lower. But there is an actor who played an important role so that the Spanish society of the time knew the fact. I'm talking about Martinez Tornel. His article about the floods even gets to the King of Spain and encourages the mobilizations of a lot of campaigns with the purpose of the reconstruction of Murcia. The solidarity of the society was immediate, and in only 1 month had been collected more than 1 million of pesetas. It proves that when a big catastrophe like this happened, no matter the social or economic condition, everybody collaborates for a common goal. An example of that is the huge collection that a supportive magazine like Paris Murcie obtained, 43 million of pesetas. The relevance of this investigation is to understand how people behaved in situations so terrible like this. Other works have focused the point on the event itself, but we want to analyze how people react with the floods that ravaged Murcia many years ago. Finally, I want to refer on the limitations of this research. Future researches may explore other variables like the weather conditions that caused the floods, or how the infrastructure of the time could have been better prepared for the floods.